Alright guys, today I'm bringing you a legendary item guide on Borderlands 3, and in this video we'll be looking at the Maliwan pistol known as the Thunderball fist. The red text on the weapon reads, I can have such a thing. And what's special about this weapon is when you fire this weapon at a surface, and this includes enemies, the projectile will stop in its path and start to float up into the air and then drop down, and then when it drops and re-hits another surface, it will explode, dealing an area of effect of shock damage. To get this weapon, we'll be farming the rare spawn known as the Power Troopers, who could be found on Atlas HQ. Now I have a farming method that I use, which can be quite inconsistent. When you spawn in at the fast travel, you want to walk out of the bank, take a right and into the wide open area, immediately take a left and walk all the way up to the wall. Just before this wall, there'll be some boxes, and the inconsistent part of this method is jumping onto these boxes and then jumping onto a ledge just above. This ledge can be quite difficult to actually hit, and I too still have some trouble with getting this consistently after quite a few hours of farming the Power Troopers. If you can get it consistently, then you can jump up there with ease, and then all you have to do is walk to the right slightly and the Power Troopers spawn there. If you can't do this, then the other method is to walk round the normal way, and this means walking all the way to the end of this walkway and then looping back round on yourself to come back to this corner. The Power Troopers, like I mentioned, are a rare spawn, so they won't spawn 100% of the time, but when they do, you'll most likely know if they do before they show up, as the game will slightly lag as you're approaching where they spawn. There's 5 in total, which is all a reference to the Power Rangers. There's black, red, yellow, green, and pink, and a chance for them to drop a legendary is applied when you kill the last one, so only the last one will have a chance to drop the legendary. I might be wrong, it might be any of them have a chance at any time, but when I got it to drop, as well as when I farmed previous things in the past, the last one was always the one to drop the legendary. But you just want to farm the Power Troopers for your chance at the Thunderball fist to drop. Now this gun is actually a returning weapon from Borderlands 2. Both versions are basically exactly the same. In Borderlands 3, however, it's slightly worse because of the charge time on Maliwan weapons. In Borderlands 2, you could basically fire the weapon as fast as you could pull the trigger, and you can hold down the trigger for it to fire full auto, but in Borderlands 2, it's not full auto. You have to individually press the trigger, and you'll have this forced delay in between shots just because of the charge time of Maliwan weapons. Hence the name. The gun will only ever come in shock element, and this means that this gun is very good for shields. You can actually get a very high quantity of shock damage dealt to enemies purely because of the initial damage that you deal to an enemy with the bullet as it hits them, and then also with the bullets rising up and then landing, dealing that area of effect shock damage. You can actually get a lot of damage off. But like I said, this is shock damage, so you'll have a much better time dealing loads of damage to shields, but once you get to the health bar, it's quite a different story. Using it as a primary damage source, however, is probably not a good idea. I did it for the sake of testing in this video, just to show you what the damage is like, but after using it, I would definitely not use this as a primary source of damage. A use that I could see is with a transformer and using this to fire it at your feet, but the area of effect damage does take a while in order to take effect, so you'll be waiting a few seconds when you're wanting to regenerate your shield when you have the transformer equipped, and this could be the difference between life and death. Overall, I definitely class this weapon as a shield killer. Once it's fulfilled its purpose, you'll definitely want to switch to another weapon, maybe a corrosive weapon if you're going up against armored enemies, or an incendiary weapon if you're going up against flesh-based enemies. But you definitely just want to have some other good weapons that you can switch to after using the Thunderball fist to eradicate the shield, just to deal that damage and kill the enemies a lot quicker than if you were to just use the Thunderball fist. Definitely go pick this weapon up if you just want to have something in your pocket to deal with shields, or if you just want to have some of that Borderlands 2 nostalgia. But other than that, that's it for the video, guys. I hope you found this useful. Make sure to subscribe for future legendary item guides on my channel, and yeah, see you in the next video.